What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us for another episode of Diving Deep with the Levs here on What's the Biz 559. We are so excited for this episode. Let me tell you, we are talking all things sex, or if you're conservative, intimacy. But we are excited. We have two experts in this topic, and we want to equip you guys with tools on how to strengthen that oneness when it comes to the bedroom.
Absolutely.
So let's take it away. Can you guys please introduce yourself? We have Michelle and Derrico here with us today.
Yes. So I am Sexologist Michelle. I am an American Board of Sexology and American College of Sexologists, certified sexologist. People always want to know what a sexologist is, and I tell people I'm an expert on the science of sex.
Okay.
So all of the things, the intricate pieces about sex, that's me. That's what I take on. I am the founder and director of the Pleasure Masters Institute, which is an institute dedicated to training other people to do what I do. So if people want to be intimacy coaches, relationship coaches, or sexologists, I train them to do that, and they become certified sexologists as well. I do a lot. Ultimately, I'd like to tell people I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
Yes,
I've been doing this for a very long time, and my goal is to help people have the most expansive pleasure that they can in their lives. So that's what I'm doing.
I love that. And that's why we have you here. We're going to expand.
So you ain't just look up nothing on the internet.
No.
Decided to talk about sex.
Stories about that one,
This is 2008 and on, baby. This has been a long journey.
Okay, perfect. So, Rico.
You can call me Rico. My name is Derrico. I am from Houston, Texas. I've been married to this gorgeous creature for 20
Almost 21.
Come
Almost
September,
21.
right?
Almost 21.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know, right?
It ain't been long at all.
We can learn some other stuff, too, from y'all.
I got you. I am a ACS certified sexologist as well through the PMI Institute. I'm also one of the instructors there.
Okay.
And I'm a veteran. I'm a really attractive grandfather. And and I'm also a writer and a filmmaker and an artist. So I am actually in this capacity for the men. I'm trying to be here for the men. I'm trying to be here for the men. I'm trying to help y'all help yourselves.
Yes.
You need help. Don't lie about it. I got you.
Yes. Thank you.
Hey, we appreciate that. So
that set the tone right there.
Before we dive in, I just want to throw this out there for everybody who's watching. We know that it's difficult to talk about sex.
Yes.
We know that if you see the term sex, you see the term sexologist, that kind of puts up a wall from being able to listen to the information that's being given. And so I want to let you know that you can improve your relationship by understanding simply the science of sex.
Right.
But if you want to take your relationship to the next level, I just encourage you to tune in, just hear what they have to say, because your relationship, especially our married couples, your relationship can't grow if this part isn't addressed, because it's a natural part of marriage.
Absolutely.
And so kind of as we dive in, honey, I guess take away the first question we have.
So one of the things I wanted to say is, so we previously spoke, but what I did was I put up a question box on my story on Instagram, and I'm like, if you could ask a sexologist anything, like, what would you ask? You know, this is going to be our next podcast interview, and it was crickets.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's part of the problem.
It is.
We're not talking about sex, and it's this taboo thing that we don't address. And so I'm like, they gonna watch secretly, but nobody wanted to ask their question. So can we talk about that? Like, I feel like if you want to grow and have a healthy, passionate sex life, then part of it is talking about it, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with the subject.
Yeah, we definitely can talk about that, because it's one of the major issues that shows up. Ultimately, people are looking at the framework of sex from either taboo, right? Mm-hmm. You also look at it from religion, which we know the foundations of what it looks like from religion. But you're also looking at it from like morality and belief systems and all of these different ideas. And if you have this framework in your mind that this is negative, because I learned that I'm a wife and I'm a woman of God and I can't show up like the freak. Then the framing is, I have to keep this to myself. I can't talk. But listen, when you have issues with your heart, who do you go to?
Yeah.
You got issues with your sex, you need to go to somebody with your sex,
Yeah,
right?
right.
People are showing up, doing it through pornography, which we know is performative and not the way that sex, is supposed to be done. So you need to find someone who has the ability to teach and help that can give you what sex looks like without it being taboo and difficult to have conversations about. We have to change the framing of what sex looks like in order for people to have better sex.
So what is, and I'll take this to you, Rico, like what is a way you can kind of help couples change that perspective from looking at it through that negative lens to seeing it as something positive?
Understanding that it's, you know what? And I'll bring this little analogy. I will say sex is almost the same as going to the playground.
Okay.
Right? Or playing in the mud. It's messy. Right? Right? It's messy, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And you're not thinking about what's going to happen after. You know you need to clean up.
Yeah.
Right? That's all you need. That's all you know. It's fun, and I'm going to clean up after.
Right.
And being able to say that I can just cast away all whatever I was thinking about. Oh, this is mud. Oh, there's a bug. Or there's this. No, you're just enjoying that. And to be able to play in the mud with your best friend, like, hey, can we get messy real quick?
Right.
Yeah.
It's making sure that you reframe it to understand that this isn't just sex and the purpose appropriation, but it's fun and it's pleasure.
Yeah.
So at PMI, we focus on the idea that it's more about pleasure than it is about the science and education when we're teaching the masses. When we're teaching our students, it's about the science.
That's good.
Okay.
So, like, when I hear you say, like, just messy, fun, like, I'm hearing you, like, just say that there's a freedom within that. And a lot of times as couples, when we do get in that situation, there's a lot of things that restrict that freedom.
Shame will do that.
Yeah. And so we don't know, like, what turns our partner on, or if we don't have a good performance, on the men's side, like, that can cause that shame.
And that good performance will also cause erectile dysfunction. What is it going to do? Like, I didn't do this the right way, or such and such that I saw on a particular website did it this way. I'm gonna do it this way and see if it works. No, it's my son said it. It's like, if you can't have fun when you're doing it, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
If you can't laugh while you're doing it, why are you doing it?
Yeah. So go into that, because when I think of erectile dysfunction, like, I know a lot of people might think of that as like something that's like diagnosably wrong. So can you talk about that a little bit? What is erectile dysfunction?
So erectile dysfunction can be a number of things. It can be mental, it can be physical, it could be from a cardiovascular aspect. But the issue that a lot of men will say, oh, I have to go get some, I'm not going to say the off-brand, but I have to go get medicines because it's not working.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of times men aren't understanding that it's not so much, it's about maybe 50% of the time, it's not something that's with your body. It's with how you treat your body.
Okay.
Right? So if you aren't eating properly, if you are drinking, if you're not sleeping, if you're not working out, or if you are masturbating and treating your body the same way you would treat a woman, where you're just sending it through this laborious situation where now you are hurting and sore and tired, your body's not going to respond to pleasure.
Right.
It's only responding to physical, mechanical action. So a lot of times men, especially young men who are now like, they're getting in as young as 24, 25, 26 years old, getting Viagra and Cialis.
Yeah.
They're doing this so that they can perform. But they're not realizing that the basis of their intimacy with their lover is being able to understand that this is something that should be fun, and I should be able to connect with this human being, not treat them as though they are a porn star or, a video vixen or an Instagram model, saying, hey, look, this is an actual human being in front of me that has a favorite color, and a favorite cartoon, and I would really like to connect with them. Not being able to connect, but then we'll sit up there and put that on ourselves again and say, oh, no, I need to get this right.
Yeah.
We're not factories.
I have a twofold question for you, Michelle. So one of the things is, as wives, I've heard people see it as like this act of duty. So how do we kind of change that mind work to where, like, okay, well, my body's not mine. I just got to show up and just do it no matter how I'm feeling. I wanted to ask you about that. And then I also wanted to ask you, I just drew a blank. Okay, let's start there and I'll think about the question.
we see a lot, at least let me speak from the scope of my lens. I see a lot primarily because the majority of my clients are women or couples who come to me, right? So when the women are coming to me and they're saying it feels like a chore, a lot of times it's a chore because there's no pleasure in it. And their partners are not listening to the fact that there is a lack of pleasure. I can't tell you that this isn't working for me because then you discount the fact that this isn't working for me. Wow. You sometimes will come and say, well, I didn't have no problem with all these other women.
I wish you would.
Wow. Nobody else complained. And I often say that, well, what's happening is they might not be telling you because they know that they're going to be discounted, but I'm getting your text messages. Your wives are calling me.
Wow.
They in the group chats with their friends saying, I don't know what to do, right? He ain't doing it. He's not listening. That's probably where that's where one of the biggest challenges as it relates to like trying to get in the position where it's no longer a chore. Also, the second framing of that is having your partners realize that your body, your partner's body is still theirs. You get the access. She is giving you access to it. So in those moments where it's like, okay, this is a challenge, I'm overwhelmed. Like, I'm doing all of the things. Bills is on my head and all of that. And the last thing you want me to do is show up and perform. As opposed to being worried about my wellness.
Yes.
Right? The fact that I have all of these things and what you can contribute to help me eliminate some of those challenges so I can get to the point where it's not a chore, but I'm enjoying this and I'm desiring it. I want it. That's where we have to have conversations.
Oh, that's good.
That's good. Wait, hold on, because I figured out my second question. So what are some things that we can do outside of the bedroom to connect in those moments so that it doesn't feel like a chore, you more prepped and ready? Because I know sometimes for men, especially my husband, it's go time. He like the light switch on, let's go. And I'm like, my mind's not there. We need to hold on a minute. So what are some things outside of the bedroom that can help us connect to prepare in preparation for those moments?
So right off the bat, I want to tell people that oftentimes you're looking at the physiological aspects of sex, that this thing goes in this thing, right? You're not looking at the fact that right now my brain has to be in this.
Yes.
So once partners can realize, one, is my partner safe? Meaning, are they safe in their body? Are they safe in their heads? Right? Do they have the ability to be fully centered in this? Their body is not in fight or flight mode. If your body is in fight or flight mode, it is not ushering in pleasure. It is not going to usher desire.
Real quick, can you say that again?
If your body is in fight or flight mode, it is not going to usher in pleasure or desire. None of those things are physiologically happening. If your body is in fight or flight mode, the response is protect me. And if you are not mindful of the fact that your partner's body is in protection mode, then you are doing additional things that are harmful to that.
Wow.
That don't open and allude to that, right?
Yes, I think women are in a constant state of anxiety right now, like, or have always been.
We have a lot.
Since the dawn of time, a constant state of anxiety. If you're not worried about protecting your baby from a saber-toothed tiger, you worried about protecting your baby from the cold or from bad politics or from people that mean ill will. So I think the biggest thing is helping men understand your goal is to make her feel safe and get her out of that point of anxiety.
Okay, so talk to this though, because this is very important. And we don't talk about safety a lot in relationships because we talk about roles. We talk about I'm the husband, I'm the wife, I'm the provider, I'm the caregiver, I'm the nurturer, I'm the one who goes out and get the bacon. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's an aspect that we forget because when we do go out and we do go and we work, we come home and we feel like that's more work, which it is, because you show up and, you know, you have to still show up for your family as you are. So when you show up, there's almost this attitude of like, well, I'm the provider. Like I just went out 8 hours, 12 hours.
I know you're going with this.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm coming home and I still have to do more. And then from there, now they're not showing up as
what you would like them to be.
Exactly. But they're showing up as like the lesser me. Like, so I guess, can you talk to men, like how do you transition from work to coming home, but still being in a place to provide that safety and like your full self to your family.
So how about this? I saw this on TikTok earlier, and I wanted to talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about it now. So to me, and this is something that my Uncle Ray, he was married 52 years, and he followed his wife to the grave because he just didn't like everybody else that much. And he said there's a cost of doing business for everything it is you do, right? So when you get up in the morning, you got to go to work. You can't be stinking, so what you got to do? Take a shower. You got to make sure you got gas in your car, right? So you got to go to the gas station. Yeah. There's a cost of doing business for everything it is you need to do when you need to get that for whatever it is you're hoping to get.
Right.
So when you come home, it's still business. It's just a different type of business that you're having fun with. There's a cost of doing business. And the cost of doing business is she been here all day with these damn kids. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, number one. Number two, take care of them before y'all go over there. Sit over there with your wife and say, hey, baby, what you need me to do right now? It's when you go to work and you want to be that guy that the boss is like, yeah, I'm going to promote you. What do you do? Hey, boss, what you need me to do, man?
Exactly.
Right? What you need me to do?
Yeah.
Right? She ain't the boss when you get home, but she is the boss when you get home, right?
Yeah.
Because there's something that you want and need from her. So how about you go ahead and understand there's a cost of doing business wherever you go. It's just that some of the rewards you get are better. And trust and believe me, this is a whole lot better than that check I get every couple of weeks.
Oh, listen. If we can take 50 minutes to talk about that, we would.
Yeah.
Because that's important.
Yeah.
Like so many people, so many men in particular, they prioritize their role as provider over husband. And so they go out, they want to make sure the home is, and rightfully so, some of it comes from like what they learned growing up, but they go out and they want to go work, they want to go make money, they want to make sure their family has a place to stay, but they use that as a substitution for the fact that I have to come home and still show up for my wife.
Still be full
Right.
and integrated into my family.
Yes.
But people expect her to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like 24/7. It's not, and let's be 100. Women are still going to work too.
Yes.
And still
Yes.
expected to show up and integrate with the kids and cook and clean and still be lady in the street and freak in the sheets.
Yeah.
You don't get to turn that off. The partners don't get to turn it off either.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
I agree
good.
with that. Now, if they want to, where do you start in terms of, or what do you encourage maybe your clients to start with when they want to get into that explorative stage in the bedroom and have this openness about it? Where would you, I guess, suggest they start?
Yeah. One, I always say safety. So I need to be able to talk to you, right? I need to be able to communicate that these are the things that I want and need without judgment, without shame, without worrying about that you're going to take this and use it against me later. Let's start there.
Yes.
Then when you're getting to that point where you're like, let's do it, you have to be truthful about what it is that you want and need and desire. You can't be like, oh, well, I'm thinking about maybe I saw a video on TikTok and they was doing BDSM and kink play. And I'm thinking about, say I'm interested.
Yeah.
You have to verbalize that these are the things I'm interested in. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to say, yes, let's do this. But having a partner that's willing to say, okay, maybe we're going to take one of Michelle's classes and see what this looks like before we fully integrate.
Yeah.
But being open to the conversation about those things are really simple. I tell people start slow. Like, the suggestion wouldn't be like, I've never had sex toys and now all of a sudden, I want to pull out all, I want to bring my bag of tricks. Start slow.
Yeah.
Talk about what works best and like do some pleasure mapping on each other and find out what works best for your body and then go from there. Like,
They don't know what pleasure mapping is.
okay.
Tell us.
It
Tell us, because I
sounded
have an
good.
idea, but
It
tell me.
sounded
I have
good.
an idea, though, yeah.
So one of the things one of the pleasure work we give our clients, if somebody's like, okay, I want to explore more, but I don't know what works best for my body.
Where to start,
We tell
yeah.
them to do pleasure work, which is effectually you taking the body and going from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet, being intentional with making sure you're paying attention to the areas that bring them pleasure, the areas that are challenges. And it could be from like me just slowly like touching the top of my husband's head and
Wait a minute.
Touch him.
Hey, I'm telling you now, this table is not for that.
I was going to say, I just met you, man, Alina. Wait a minute.
and just tracing all the way down and finding the areas that work best, because when people are engaging in sex and intimacy, they're going for the normal parts, right?
All the zones.
Yep.
The main
They're not
part.
looking at the fact that if I touch my husband's clavicle, like I know this is gonna do a little something different, right? And if he
You got
touches
5
it,
minutes.
or if he touches a certain area on my back, that it does something to me, and it's not the same as my normal areas.
Right.
That is an expansion of pleasure. That gives people permission to be able to want to receive pleasure. And that thing we was talking about where it's like sex is a chore, it no longer becomes a chore because now I'm not doing the exact same thing over and over again. He's exploring me.
Yeah.
He has a desire to want to learn me. Ooh. That's what it looks like.
The desire to learn.
Yes.
That's good. And I feel like that's where it needs to start. I know I've heard of like men coming into a relationship and they think, well, like I had all this experience with all these other women. So what I did then is going to work with you too. And they don't take time to be curious enough to learn who's in front of you, especially when you're dealing with your spouse. Like, what do you like? What don't you like?
Yes.
And then talk about it. You know that thing we did? Like, I wasn't really feeling that. But this right here, do that again. I like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm even thinking like, we change, like especially like the longer you're married, we know that we change as
Absolutely.
people. Like our desires change, what
Yes.
might turn me on change, like what feels uncomfortable, what makes me clench changes.
Yes.
And so just being like a lifelong curious person
Yes.
helps you to explore and find what pleases your partner.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, because I'm thinking like when you, well, I guess this is a question for both of you, but primarily for like the women who are wanting to have this conversation with their spouse, but it backfired before, like what's a safe way or a careful way they can approach it so they can kind of like soften the ground a little bit for him to be able to receive it?
Yeah, one of the things that we use all the time is the sandwich method. I don't know if y'all ever heard it. Like
I have. Yes,
the sandwich method is a really great way of communication, but not enough people are using it in terms of sex and intimacy. So I tell people, if you have an issue with sex and intimacy, you want to tell somebody things are not working or you want to explore, you tell them the good stuff at the top, the things that are a little bit more palatable, difficult for them to take in the middle. You do good stuff at the end, like feedback at the end, and I add an additional piece. I tell them, you ask your partner, how can we work on this together? So it doesn't look like you're pointing the finger.
Yeah, that's good.
What solutions do you have so we can work on this together and improve whatever we have going on with our sex life?
Okay. You look like you had your wheels turning, Rico.
So, yeah, that is important. The sandwich method is really important. We definitely recommend that with all of our clients when we're starting out with them. But as men, we have that thing about communication where we shoot from the hip with each other.
Yeah.
So it's a great testament to your relationship when you have the sandwich method, but then you shooting from the hip, right? When I tell you, there was one day she came in, she's like, "Hey, look, this ain't it." Shh. Pow. Okay, no, what's up? I'm getting tablets and pencils and paper and graph sheets. So let's figure this all out. I'll get a whiteboard. What's going on, right? Yeah. And I think that's something that men once they have to do is decenter their ego.
Yep.
Because when you around your boys, it's all about your arrogance and your ego because that's all rewarded. If you've never read the Will to Change by Bell Hooks, please do. Absolutely. It shows that society rewards behaviors that men have that are absolutely useless to us.
Wow.
Right.
But what we really need to be able to understand is that true sincerity and authenticity between our mates. And so learning to decenter and say, hey, look, this ain't about my arrogance. This is about making sure that this gets done, fixed, and that there is fun happening.
Yeah, man, that is great. Man, and we can go on and on and on, but we're running out of time.
I know.
We do want to invite you two back to do maybe like another version, extended version or something like that.
Absolutely.
But I guess just for
I
final...
have a few questions before we close it out.
She's like, hold on.
Hold on.
We're running out of time.
Okay, hold on though.
9:30.
So is there any foods that will increase a woman's libido?
Damiana root, maca root, reubos. If you can get some teas to have that, one of my favorite teas to recommend to do that is Friality. Okay. Super dope. Those are like typical arousal things. Rico just did working weekend. What did you do? Pomegranate, right?
Pomegranate, watermelon.
Oh,
this is for men. Pomegranate, watermelon.
Okay.
Anything that cleans the blood so that it can move through the body faster.
Pumpkin seeds for men.
Pumpkin seeds, chewing pumpkin seeds in the shell. Like, don't even break them out. Just put one in there,
wow,
chew the
that's
cell.
savage.
Because the ones that are taking it, the same thing in horses. Like horses eating pumpkin seeds, and what does it do? It cleans the digestive system, and then those antioxidants and those nutrients go into the blood. Clean the blood because we need the blood to be clean. We need good gas going through the car. You know what I'm saying?
I like that. I like that analogy.
Okay, and then one of the questions that did come in was, is calendaring? Okay, is scheduling sex good, or what are your thoughts on that? Scheduling sex.
I think it's absolutely good for the people who need it.
Okay.
In an environment when we have multiple schedules, things going on, people trying to work it out, to not have a plan on how we are going to connect is to the detriment of connection.
Ooh.
So if you know that right now we have 50 million schedules, my husband's going to work, I'm traveling, like we got things going on, I got students and clients, and he's got clients. The goal is like at some point, if we keep going, there's no ability for us to connect. So you have to be intentional about connecting. So it's not a challenge for some people who don't like it, but the people who need it, they should be scheduling it in for sure.
Okay, and then I know you guys brought a treasure chest.
We did.
Oh yeah.
Anything you want to show us
chest?
before we close this out? Like you need this in the bedroom. Try this.
So
and this is for mature audience.
I know if you ain't ready for this, click out now.
Send them to the room. You know what's about to happen.
So for those of you who are just wanting to play a little bit, if you want to explore, y'all, this is you want to do a little extra something in the bed. This is an actual purse, but it's my purse of tricks.
Wow.
If you want to do a
I
little,
like it. You would have never know what's in there.
You want to do a little extra play? You can pull out. You can pull out a little tricks in the bag.
Okay.
These are things that you can do.
So explain what we have.
I know, because
Right.
people are like, "What is this? A leash for a dog?"
I mean, depending on what you have, these can be used for ankles or wrist. If you want to do a little control and connection and all of that.
Okay.
These are things typically used for the ankles.
Okay.
If you want to do this is a neck collar.
Okay.
But you could use these for like control. Rico, you want to show real quick?
Real simple. Take that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. Very simple if you just
Yeah.
want to play. I did want to share this for people. Last thing, a recommendation, probably because one of the biggest challenges that I'm seeing women encounter is, especially as you get a little bit older, they have an issue with lubrication.
Okay.
This is my best recommendation. One, I'm going to tell y'all automatically, be careful about the lubes that you're using, because lubes can dry out your natural moisture.
Okay, that's good.
And so some people are using really bad ones that are meant to keep you coming back to pay for it. And then you're like, why am I drying out?
Yeah.
And why am I having pain? And why can't we? Because you got the wrong lube.
Ooh, okay.
That's good.
So
Lube is important.
This is my recommendation based on the fact that I have tested, including looking at the osmolality of all of the products and the pH balance. This is my best recommendation. That has really viscous, so it's thick.
Okay.
And like
and
70
long
to
lasting.
85% all natural
And long lasting.
Okay.
Good, clean
That's
love,
good.
almost
got-
naked, just so that you guys can, in case you couldn't see it.
And we got something to give y'all, but do you want us to give y'all that off the camera?
Yeah. We'll save our gifts for
we'll save our
our
gifts.
bedroom after
Yeah,
the
but
podcast.
listen. The whole point of the conversation today is connection and
Yes.
pleasure.
Yes.
You want to be able to connect. You want to be able to make it safe for your partner to have fun and to explore. If it's something that your partner isn't on board with, have that conversation. Talk about what you like, talk about what they don't like, and you find a common ground. And we just thank both of you for
Yes,
just
thank
coming here and
you.
blessing our
Pleasure.
audience,
Yes.
talking about something that people don't like to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. We listen, this is a joy and a passion of mine to be able to serve and help people have the best pleasure of their lives. There's nothing greater.
And where
Okay.
can they find you?
You
They
can
need
find
some
me.
help.
Yeah, you can find me. First of all, I'm here in Tulare. That's one. I'm in Tulare County.
Local,
But
yes.
I'm in Tulare County. So if somebody searches me, but you can find me at sexologist.emichelle.com or at pleasuremastersinstitute.com if you're somebody who saw this and is like, well, I want to do what she does.
Yeah.
You can come learn from me.
And I can be found at Sexologist for Hire. It's on Instagram and on TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay, that's dope. What are your final words? And if you want, you can look right here into the camera. What are your final words for anybody who's listening?
If you're a man, I need you to decenter your ego. Doesn't matter no more. It's all about your pleasure.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
hers.
Yes.
Just decenter.
Yes.
I think the one thing I would want people to know is that pleasure is personal. You have to find something that works best for you and to work in conjunction with one another to have the most expansive pleasure possible. Jesus is not worried about what you doing in the bed right at that moment. There's 50 million things that Jesus could be thinking about right now. Enjoy one another and play.
He wants you to enjoy one another.
Yes, enjoy one another.
Yeah. I think that's part of the taboo topic is like, no, God created this. It's good.
Yes.
Like it's supposed to be good. You're supposed to be able to enjoy it. And I believe like married bed is undefiled. So you do what you want in the bedroom, what you two agree upon. Yeah. But that's good. So many more questions I could have asked. But thank you so much for being here. I just want to say this one thing because she didn't say it here, but we had spoke previously. And you mentioned that when is the last time you ran away from something that you enjoy or that you found joy in?
Yes.
And so if sex is something that you're avoiding or you're not experiencing that intimacy, then start with the question of like, okay, where are we going wrong and why is this not pleasurable to where we're running towards each other? So I just want to end on that note. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and we cannot wait for the next one.
Yeah, and always remember, a thriving marriage is for you.
Peace.